So go to economics chapter 14, stop already please. Chapter 14, sources of market failure. In the market, it is expected that we have efficiency, which is mostly allocative and productive efficiency. But if the market does not give us allocative efficiency, then there's a market failure. Please get the point again here. There is market failure, which is as a result of inefficiency in the market. We are supposed to have productive and allocative efficiency in the market. So for the market to be efficient, it needs productive and allocative efficiency. Stop your pen down. It needs productive and allocative efficiency. But if we cannot find this, especially allocative efficiency, or there's misallocation of resources in the market, then it is considered to be called market failure. So I wrote, market failure, it occurs if the allocation of resources is not efficiently done. So that means there's lack of efficiency in the market based on allocation, how resources.
What does allocation of resources mean?
Allocation means the supply, how it's being rationed to individuals or to the market. That is what allocation is about. How we're able to get the supplies. Do we get it more or get it less? So if you are supposed to get more or get less, that is misallocation. So in as much as there is misallocation of resources, then there is a market failure. Do we get market failure? Please be here. Do we get market failure, please? So we have the partial market failure and a complete market failure. We call it a partial market failure because resources or goods are being sold, goods are more in the market or few in the market. We want more, we get less. That is partial market failure. We want less, we get more. That is also partial market failure. Both of you, just try to split. Do you get what partial market failure is here? We call it partial market failure because in that market, too much is being supplied into the market or too little is being supplied into the market. So that means there's excess supply or excess demand. Do you understand market failure here? The supply is not enough or the demand is less than the supply. So that is a market failure, which is called partial market failure. Do you understand partial market failure? Your pencil down. Just put it down. Thank you. Then we have a complete market failure, where we can't even find the goods or services in that market. Oh, we need an international school. We can't find one. That is a missing market. It's a market failure. Do we understand the market failure here? There are two ways we could talk about market failure. We have the complete one and the partial one. We call it partial because goods are being supplied too much in that market or too little in that market. Too much, too little is a market failure. It has to be balanced. That is a partial market failure. And the other one is a complete market failure, which comes as a result of a missing market. A market that is not there at all. Like the market for education, we couldn't find international schools in Libya. So the market for international school is missing. It's a market failure. I'm citing an example. I'm not saying there's no international schools in Libya. Market failure in Libya that does not exist. Wow, I have to think deep anyway. But that's quality. Look, I won't be able to say that. But just the example I could use is a market that is partial, which I just explained. I wouldn't say it further. So I wouldn't know more about what is missing in the industry. But using an example of what a missing market could be is why I use IKS, your school, as an example. So if we couldn't find any international school here in Libya, then we could talk about a missing market, which is a market failure. But there is, so it's not a market failure. But if they are not enough, now let's assume the schools, the international schools in Libya are not enough for the students that wants to go into international school, then it's a market failure. Too much, too little is a market failure. So we could say there's a market failure in Libya in terms of international education. If the schools are not enough, that they are not sufficient for the students that means the schools are overcrowded. Do you understand? I think you understand what market failure is here. I won't be able to go further than that. Good. So we understand what partial is and what missing is. It's a missing market because it's not available. But it's a partial market because it is too much or too little. Either ways, they are both market failure. Is it clear? So what are the causes of market failure? The first one, externalities. When we talk about externalities, we're talking about actions or inactions that affect the third party. So most of the time, in the market, prices and profits are the signals. We talked about price function in the last class, some previous class back. We talked about price function, signal, rationing, incentive. Have you guys forgotten?
Yeah.
So price is supposed to be a signal in the market. So whatever price is being set, we as consumers should be able to behave towards that price because it's a signal. So most of the time, we get a wrong signal from the market. As a result of that, we misallocate resources. How does misallocation come? It comes because we become irrational based on the fact that the price is giving us a wrong signal. I'm going to explain it. Let's say, for example, a marker. I use a marker a lot anyway. Let's talk about, for example, a marker. The price of marker suddenly increased. Because the market suddenly increased, those who need markers start buying a lot of markers because they felt that the price might increase further. So we even buy what we don't need to use. That is misallocation. So the market has given us a wrong signal that makes us to act irrationally. I'm buying more that I don't even need because I felt the price is increasing. Do you understand the signal there? So most of the time, businesses will tell us, oh, we bought this for one, that we're only making $0.5 out of this what we are selling to you. But they might be making more. But what they tell us is that they're making less. So we start putting them into consideration like, okay, we pay more price on it. We pay higher prices. So the signal we get from the market allows us to behave irrationally. And when we behave irrationally, it brings about misallocation of resources, which is what we call market failure. So the market allows us to behave irrationally. That means we buy what we don't need. In as much as you're buying what you don't need, is a waste and it is irrational and it is misallocation. That is the market failure. So it happens because the market is passing a signal that allows us to become irrational in the terms of making decisions. That is the market failure. Do we get it? That is externalities. Why is it externality? It's externality because it is the action of the market that makes us to behave the way we behaved. So we are third party to the market, aren't we? We are third party to the market, are we not? So their actions has made us to behave the way we behaved, which brings about irrationality. That is market failure, externality. Is it clear? The second one, under provision of public goods. Public goods are goods that are non-excludable and non-rivalable. It means your consumption